Right now at noon, Phoenix police shoot a man with a gun who was in a stolen truck. What happened this morning, and a heads up on detours you will want to steer clear of as this investigation unfolds. Suns Game 6, it's winner go home, hosting the Nuggets in downtown Phoenix. Can they rally back to force a Game 7 in the NBA playoffs? First up at noon, the pandemic policy that turned migrants away automatically for the last 3 years lifts at 9 tonight. Border communities already seeing a surge. We've got team coverage of the impact at our southern border and right here in the valley.
I'm flying from Europe to Cancun and from Cancun to here, and then try to wait to go to the border. It's the easiest way to get here. It's the quickest way to get here, and then we're gonna try to prove our asylum and to get and to bring our families here and to have a different life.
Look at the long lines this morning. Migrants coming from all over the world with new urgency now that Title 42 ends tonight. They're trying to seek asylum for a better life here in the States. A lot of border towns in Arizona are concerned they won't have the resources to keep up with this surge. Gibby Parra has the latest from San Luis.
It's been a busy day, but it's looked like this for, I would say, several years now when you think about the traffic they've been getting here. Just to give you an idea, I'm here in San Luis, Arizona. That red bridge you see there, that is San Luis, Mexico. San Luis Rio Colorado, as they call it. And then over here to the side, folks who have voluntarily turned themselves in seeking asylum, something we've been seeing here along the Arizona border. The big question is, what changes are going to be made after tonight? Well, I'll tell you, one of the changes that's going to be made, or one of the changes that's been happening here in San Luis, Arizona, is the stress it's putting on the community, bringing in Lieutenant Santana. Lieutenant, here's the thing. You talk about the manpower. You talk about what this means. When you see this and when you hear what's happening, what does that do for a city like San Luis, Arizona?
Well, it puts us in a very, very difficult situation. Again, we don't have the manpower and we don't have the resources to really help these people out. So, again, these are the volunteers, volunteer give-ups. But again, later on tonight, when the Title 42 ends, we don't know what we're going to be getting. I mean, if it's going to be people that are rushing in through the port of entry, it's going to be a difficult situation. Again, we don't know what we're going to get. And again, our main focus and priority here is our community. Our members of our community, they're the ones that we're focusing on, make sure that we're protecting our schools. The businesses in our community are very important to us, so we want to make sure that we provide that service that we're paid to do. That is our home that we want to make sure that we protect. So it's going to be difficult, but we have our priorities straight, and we do what we need to do to get by.
I spoke with the San Luis mayor earlier. She tells me that she reached out to the federal government hoping to hear back from them, but they have not heard from the federal government at all on what to do in a situation like this and what to look for. They just know that they're going to need the resources. They are going to need the money. And I do need to make this clear. The folks you see here, really from different countries, Brazil, Russia, the African countries as well as Asian countries as well. These folks here would not be affected by Title 42, but yet they are in a sit and wait pattern. They are here giving themselves up voluntarily, just waiting for the Border Patrol to pick them up.
Gibby, thank you. And a strain on resources for sure. It has been an emotional journey for many migrant families who traveled a great distance to come here. Whitney Clark shows us how Valley churches, shelters, nonprofits, even the airport are handling the surge here in the Valley.
This week, we have heard from state leaders, including Governor Hobbs, who did release a plan on how the state would respond to a possible influx of migrants. And this morning, we're getting a better sense of how churches, how organizations, and how even the airport is preparing for the end of Title 42. So I did reach out to officials with Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. It tells me it is in constant contact with the organizations that help asylum seekers as they get to family members, sponsors throughout the state of Arizona, and also throughout the country. Right now, the airport is seeing about 200 migrants a day. While most of them are from Yuma, they have tickets, they are prepared to travel, but staff at the airport can help them translate if that is needed. The airport knows at least 2 hours in advance if numbers are going to be higher than usual, and they are ready to adjust staff if that is needed in the weeks and the days to come. Meantime, a pastor at a church here in Phoenix says they see as few as 30 or as many as 80 migrants a day as they help with food, shelter, and other much needed resources.
Sometimes the attention that they deserve or that they need. They have questions. And it's not only Hispanics. We've been receiving people from all over, from Africa, from Asia, the Russia area, Afghanistan.
The pastor tells me they have not seen any changes in the numbers lately, and typically how it works, the day before ICE is set to drop them off, he'll get a sense of the countries that folks are coming from and also how many people they can expect to be staying them for a day or two. From downtown Phoenix, I'm Whitney. I'll send it back to you guys.
We have two crews at the border through the rest of the week standing by to show you how things are unfolding firsthand. Look for live reports from Nogales and Yuma on Good Evening Arizona starting at 4, and we will link all the reports on our news app and website so you can have the full context. azfamily.com. In other local news now, Phoenix police are investigating an officer-involved shooting from this morning that is still causing a detour near 91st Avenue and Lower Buckeye. Take a look. Happened around 3:30 this morning. Police say they found a man with a gun passed out in a stolen truck in the middle of the road. When they boxed him in, he woke up and came out pointing his gun at police, who tried to stop him with less than lethal rounds. That's when he ran into the neighborhood, where they did track him down.
So when he initially got out of the vehicle, again, I don't have any information currently that says it was any exchange of gunfire. What I can tell you, though, is when they reacquired him in the neighborhood after he ran off, that's when the officer-involved shooting occurred. We fired both non-lethal rounds to him initially when he got out of the vehicle and also when he was taken into custody. However, when they located him in the neighborhood, those were actually handgun runs fired by the officers.
He got checked out by medics and did not have to go to the hospital. No one else was hurt. The Arts Academy at Estrella Mountain, by the way, canceled classes today because of all that commotion. Detectives expect that area to be closed through the afternoon while they investigate. We now know the burglary suspect shot by Tempe Police Tuesday has died in the hospital. Detectives say the man in his 20s was caught stealing from the Walmart near Priest and Elliott. When officers tried to stop him on a canal path behind the store, they say he fought back using a sharp weapon. The officer who shot him is on routine admin leave pending a full internal investigation. County prosecutors just officially indicted the man arrested 2 weeks ago accused of violently beating down a police officer in downtown Phoenix. Remember this case? Detectives say 24-year-old Rudy Gomez knocked out that officer who was trying to break up a fight with him and the mother of his children. Police say he repeatedly punched the officer in the face while he was unconscious and then stomped in his head while he was on the ground. The officer is recovering from broken bones in his face and those other serious injuries. Gomez is now facing felony charges. State troopers stopped a wrong-way driver on the freeway overnight by intentionally colliding with her. DPS says she was going south in the northbound lanes of 51 near Shea just before 2 a.m. They figure she traveled about 5 miles before they got her stopped. The troopers getting checked out for minor injuries. That 82-year-old driver, non-life-threatening injuries. Detectives think she was simply confused. We now know the name of the Phoenix police officer who died on the job from a medical episode yesterday. Officer Mark Aker had been with the force since 1994. He worked in the Maryvale Estrella precinct. Police say he was not on an active call when he went into distress. He is now the second Phoenix police officer to die from a medical emergency just this week. We're working to get more information now about the two people shot dead in a home in Goodyear. Police found them around 5 last night in this neighborhood near Elwood and Estrella Parkway. Detectives are still trying to piece together exactly what may have happened. We are waiting right now for the governor to sign off on the state budget. House and Senate lawmakers passed that $18 billion deal for the coming fiscal year, and both sides say it is a win. Here's what it includes. $650 million in infrastructure, $300 million for a one-time K-12 school funding infusion. There's $342 million for school facilities, $88.6 million in new ongoing K-12 funding, along with another $85 million for state universities. There's also a $250 tax rebate for families for every child under 17 up to 3 kids.